This is a new day, a new beginning.
Welcome back, everybody, to another video, and today we're going to be talking about episode 7 of Ahsoka. And yeah, this one was a little bit lackluster, but there's still a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. So in this episode, we got not that much action, but there was still plenty of action. But when we get to see Anakin again, but there was a hologram of him talking about her trying to defend herself and all that. We got mention of Grievous, Dooku, and Asajj Ventress, which I'm happy about that. But it was interesting when she takes out the hologram, there's so many hologram I don't know what to call them, projection things that Ahsoka has, and I think that those are gonna be well used throughout the next season, maybe, because that's when we'll probably get more Hayden Christensen and more Anakin from that perspective, since we know that he's a Force Ghost at this time. But I will say Thrawn in this one was he wasn't dumb, because he kept Sabine, Ezra, and Ahsoka away long enough for him to get the coffins on board his ship, which I think the next episode he is going back. And I think Ezra and Sabine are going, and I think Shin, Baylan, and Ahsoka are staying, and I think that Baylan and Shin and Ahsoka are going to become teammates. They're going to rely on one another, and they're going to learn a lot from each other, because the way that Baylan and Shin were in this episode, Baylan let Shin go by herself. He trusted her enough to, or maybe not trusted her enough to go fight, because he knew that she would lose. But it was very interesting that he left her, because it was just weird. I get this weird thing that hopefully Baylan doesn't die at the end of the season, because I will be very upset. But after we see them talking to each other, and Baylan facing Ahsoka again for the second time, which is interesting, because we see that she can't beat Baylan. We know that she cannot beat Baylan, which is interesting. And there are a lot of people saying oh, she defeated Maul when she was 17 but can't defeat Baylan. It's she didn't really defeat Maul either, because in that episode where she's facing Maul, when they were on beams, she fell, and if it wasn't for Maul's talking to her and asking her one last time to join him, I think she would have died on that in Mandalore if Maul wasn't so ambiguous about it. But yeah, we got to see, and Thrawn was smart because he kept Ahsoka away. Obviously, we know that Ahsoka and Sabine and Ezra finally meet up, and I was a little bit happy to see Ezra and Ahsoka finally meet up, but it was with Ezra though, it was very weird. It was yeah, I don't need my lightsaber, I only have the Force. And then we see him 5 minutes later using a blaster, and I'm just you said you only needed the Force, but let's be honest, you needed that lightsaber. You needed it, because obviously a lightsaber doesn't make a Jedi, but it comes in pretty handy when you need it. And Sabine had 2 blasters and a lightsaber, and she still wound up getting hit by blaster shots, which to me is getting really repetitive, with people just hitting the chest armor or hitting the bracers and not just going for the soft spots in between the armor. But it is what it is. It's Disney Star Wars. What are you gonna do, right? But seeing Shin and Ahsoka face off, and then seeing all 3 of them, and then having Shin there, and then Ahsoka just asking her hey, do you want to come with us? We can teach you to be better. She just runs away, which is interesting, because I think that the next episode is going to be her facing Baylan, if that does happen, and I think Baylan will win, but who knows. And after we see Baylan face Ahsoka, we see him walk away. What's interesting is where did he go? Because he knows that there's something on this planet that scares the Great Mothers so much that they want to leave, and is calling to Balin, which is going to be on this planet, because I saw some people talking about, oh, it could be Palpatine calling to him, it could be Abeloth. I think it's something on this planet that's really dark, but if it is Abeloth, I'll be very interested in being like, how is she here? Like, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, episode 7 was a little bit lackluster from the previous two, from 6 and 5, which 5 is still my favorite episode of all time for Star Wars, for live action Star Wars series. But yeah, after they just meet up, they're just talking. It's like, no, we gotta get going, because if Thrawn's here, you know that he is the deadliest person on this planet and for the galaxy, which is just interesting. But hey, what do I know? And also, we got a cameo appearance by C-3PO, Anthony Davis, where Hera's in court and talking to the Senate, which is very interesting. That's like, it's in like a room type thing instead of like in the Senate building like we had with like Palpatine, and we had all these discourses going. But it's just interesting that's more in a courtroom type thing, because I thought it was going to be like in the Senate where we get to talk to her about it, where it was like lots and lots of people. But I guess this is the New Republic era where it's like, it's just condensed into like a courtroom type thing, which I didn't really like. It was like, why don't we have the whole Senate, where it was like, oh, this huge grand arena like it was in episode 3 and 2 and 1. But hey, I'm not going to complain, but, well, I am going to complain, but it's not going to do anything. But yeah, we find Hera, we got a mention of Leia because of C-3PO. Chopper was funny, as always, because the person talking, I forget the dude's name. It's gonna bother me, but it was very interesting. The crab people, I have to say, were pretty funny. They're almost like Jawas, and I will say it's funny. It's a good episode, but yeah, episode 7 was just a little bit lackluster. But I think this the season finale for tomorrow is gonna be very interesting. I think that we're gonna get, I think it's gonna end up like season 1 of Mando, where it was just like, it wasn't hyped, but we're getting ready for the next season, because I think next season of Ahsoka is gonna bring, if they do next season of Ahsoka, I want them to go maybe past, well, I don't know if they can go past the sequels for this one, because we know, I believe that the last battle between this Empire and the Republic was on Jakku. So if they do like a time skip where it's like, hey, this is the last battle on Jakku, I'm just gonna be like, do we really mean that? But yeah, that's all I really got for this episode. I mean, there wasn't really much to talk, but it was still very interesting. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the episode. Let me know what your predictions are for tomorrow's episode, and just all around everything. But we hope you have a good one, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.